Okay, long time no see, YouTube. Long time no see. I haven't uploaded a video on this account in a long time. And I gotta change that. I gotta film more frequently and upload more frequently. That infamous playthrough I got, I need to finish that eventually. I mean, I am called Gaming and Philosophy. So I need to finish my gaming, as well as have more philosophy. Anyways, what I've come to say is, I'm really disappointed in society. I really am. I mean, we still got tons and tons of people that are of the Republican and Democratic parties. We got tons of people that support big government. We got very few libertarians. I mean, here are the statistics below in the description, and I think it's ridiculous. I would think by now people would realize that the Republican Party doesn't work, the Democratic Party doesn't work, the Libertarian Party, that should work, we should try that. But no, there's still for those two parties. I mean, Trump won the election, he's a Republican, Hillary lost, and she's a Democrat, but she would have won if the voting system went by popular vote rather than electoral vote. And that's just sad. Gary Johnson only got like 1 million votes. Well, it's pretty unacceptable. I don't get, why is it that people support big government? I mean, the biggest problem I have with big government is not the fact that it's dangerous, not the fact that it's inefficient, not the fact that it's incompetent, but the fact that it's about controlling your neighbor. That's what big government is. It's about controlling your neighbor. Not your friend, not your relative, not your child, your neighbor. That's what big government's about. Controlling someone that lives within your vicinity. And that's stupid. You don't control people. You don't. You don't tell people what they can and can't eat, or what they can put in their body, or what guns they can own, or make them go to school, or spy on them, or have unjust search and seizure. You don't do that. It's wrong. Sorry, my clothes aren't that comfortable. It's hard to adjust them. And yet so many people are still for gun control, the war on drugs, forced education, NSA spying, big government regulation of the economy, big TSA security, foreign intervention. I know I can name 3 more. People are for I guess some people are still for Guantanamo Bay, and some people are also still for jury duty, and also there's, what else are people for? I know I can get the 10. I know I can. People are for really tough immigration laws. And these are just 10 things I can currently list. There's a lot more stuff that really sucks that people are still for. And I'm like, why? Just why? I mean, I already went over how the war on drugs is fucking dumb. It has a violent black market. It barely stops. Barely any of the drugs get intercepted. Drug use goes up. It doesn't rehabilitate people who are currently on drugs. Instead of getting forced rehabilitation, which I'd still be against, so it'd make a lot more sense, they get forced in jail. And also, it's your right to put whatever the hell you want in your body. Okay, so the war on drugs, that's been debunked. What about gun control? Well, criminals don't follow gun laws. They can't be enforced well, and they only affect law-abiding citizens. criminals get their guns either by stealing them off the street, straw purchase, or maybe they even get them legally in some cases, but for the most part, they're getting them illegally. So this will only affect law-abiding citizens that get their guns legally. Plus, it's unjust to ban certain guns. Ooh, it's a big, scary black rifle. I mean, so what? A lot of those big, scary black rifles aren't even that powerful compared to, like, hunting rifles. So it's ridiculous people want to ban the guns that are not only not even that powerful, but aren't even used in crime that much. Handguns are most often used in crime, not these big, long guns, not these big, black, scary tactical guns. And yet they want to ban those. And they still ban full auto past 1986. There's a petition down low to, like, get rid of that. We'll try to get rid of it, at least calling the whitehouse.gov to get rid of it. So that's debunked. War on drugs is debunked. Gun control is debunked. My most hated issue, forced education, well, that's debunked. We don't need, or why should jackbooted thugs go after kids that don't go to school? I mean, you can't make someone learn. This education system is garbage. It's not right to hunt down people for not going to school. They aren't bothering anyone, and yet, oh, you need to be in school. It's like, no, I don't. I mean, my education is my own business, so nobody needs to make me go to school. And people are all like, oh, well, if we don't force them to go, then they don't go. But that's horseshit, because if you're forcing kids to go to school is the sole reason they're in school, then your system sucks. I mean, why should you have to force people to go? Why don't they want to go? Why don't they want to go on their own free will? I mean, if you have to force them to do something, chances are it isn't good. That's why you're forcing them. That's one thing. And kids are naturally curious. They naturally want to learn. And, you know, and then there's also, we need goods and services for society. We send kids to go to school, to get an education, to get a job, to produce those goods and services. Well, yeah, no shit, we need goods and services, but we don't need to force people in a system about, you know, the end being they eventually get a job to produce goods and services. That's rather selfish. It's like, I want goods and services, so I'm going to make kids go to school. It's like, no, that's dumb. But that's the tangent. I already went over how forced education is wrong. So that's 3 major things that have been debunked. And also, one more thing about the education system. Horace Mann, that asshole, he founded it not to make kids learn so much as to, like, condition them to follow authority, you know, in the elite. I mean, / elite. And there was plenty of schooling opportunities back in the 1800s before public education. There was private schooling and homeschooling. And then they try to, the school system tried to brainwash you into thinking that public education saved everybody. It saved kids. Yay! It saved kids. Well, no it didn't. It saved them from child labor. Okay, but I'm going on a tangent. Okay, so I debunked 3 things. I mean, gun control, war on drugs, gun control, forced education. They don't work. They don't work. People still support them. I'm disappointed with society. Not being more libertarian, not being more moral, not being more intelligent. I mean, if this is the way they want things to be, then they really don't have any right to complain when things still suck. See, I can't really fathom why people voted for Trump to change the status quo when he's at the Republican Party, which is the status quo. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party are both part of the status quo. So, if the Republican Party is at the status quo, and Trump is out of the Republican Party, that means Donald Trump is out of the status quo. I mean, yeah, I've heard arguments like, oh, he's not that Republican. I mean, he supports infrastructure, public infrastructure more than the Democrats do. But I'm like, fuck that. If he's part of the Republican Party, and he's here to run the party, as far as I'm concerned, he is Republican. I mean, he didn't go for the Libertarian Party. He went for the Republican Party. Gary Johnson went for the Libertarian Party. And he barely got any votes. I mean, sure, the Libertarian Party did the best it's ever done in 2016 last year, but it wasn't enough. Way not enough. So, I'm just... I hope I'm not repeating myself. I really hope I'm not. But I think in a developed country like this, with so much knowledge and wisdom and experience and prosperity, people would eventually... Sorry, I'm just in my class. People would eventually figure out that, yeah, big government isn't good. It's shit. So we should get rid of that. We should just have small government and keep it that way. No, we still got people that, you know, they want to control their neighbor. They want to control other countries. They want to get involved, which is wrong. This country could be so much more prosperous if we just got the government out of the equation. For at least the most part. I mean, regulation is what's sending jobs overseas. If we didn't have so much regulation, employers, businesses, big companies wouldn't have to go over to countries with less regulation to get their employees. But no, since we got so many regulations over here, since they have so many regulations over here, they gotta go to other countries to get their employees. So, yeah, I don't like it when people say that, oh, this politician, this wonderful guy, he wants to bring the jobs back. He wants to keep the jobs here. And I'm like, well, guess what? Big government is what made the jobs go over there in the first place. So, unless this politician is thinking about rolling back regulation that made the jobs go over there, then they're bullshitting. And it sucks for people to bullshit and for them to still get support by people. I mean, you can lie, you can twist facts, you can make false promises, and people will still believe in you. They'll still have faith in you, trust in you. They'll still look up to you as a politician or whoever is in the elite. You know, they'll still look up to you, even though you've well proven you're not to be trusted. And that sucks, and that needs to change. I think it needs to change. I think we need a society that's smarter. I think we need a society that's freer. I think we need a society that no longer wants to control their neighbor. Because, you know, your neighbor's supposed to be free, you're supposed to be free. So if we have a society that wants to control your neighbor, we have a society that wants to control you. And that isn't right. Why should you go to jail for smoking weed or snorting cocaine? You didn't harm anyone. And you got all these people, maybe not entertained, but then you got all these people that say, oh, people on hard drugs harm people. Well, I'm pretty sure that's exaggerated, and if it still happens, even if it still happens, so what? Why not just take the drugs away from the people that harm other people on the influence on them, and not take the drugs away from the people that don't harm other people? I mean, that seems to make more sense than just take the drugs from everyone. It's like, oh, some people couldn't handle it, therefore nobody can handle it, therefore we get to take it from everyone. I mean, that's dumb. And also, why should you go to jail for having like an AR-15 or an AK-47 or some other gun, or a full auto version of those? That goes against the Second Amendment, you know? And these are just guns. They're not nukes or, you know, or chemical weapons, or biological weapons, or dirty bombs. They're just guns, so I think people should at least be able to own those without any control. WMDs, I don't know. I mean, I think people should be able to own those. I'm just, it sounds kind of it sounds kind of funny coming out of my mouth, because it's like, you think people should own WMDs? They're WMDs! They're weapons of mass destruction! And I'm like, yeah, but if you have the money, I think you should be able to buy what you want. And if you're not willing to trust the average Joe with WMDs, why trust the government with WMDs? They're an elite force. Don't they have so much more potential to abuse WMDs than the average Joe? I mean, come on now. But that's a tangent. Once again, the way I see it is, you know, I guess you just gotta keep fighting. Keep fighting for freedom, however you can. And just, you know, don't buy into the bullshit. Don't buy into the bullshit that society's still living off of, that we need war and drugs, control, forced education, spying, foreign intervention, affirmative action, welfare. Don't buy into that, because it's simply not true. I mean, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's right. And just because it's right doesn't mean it's popular. You have a bunch of people thinking up agreeing with stupid shit. That doesn't make it popular. I mean, that doesn't make it right. And you have a bunch of people, I mean, you have very few people who agree with the right stuff, and it's not popular. But that doesn't make it wrong. No. A bunch of people thinking something doesn't make it right. What makes something right is fact. It's a fact that these political policies don't work. I'm really pissed off that, like, in states like Texas, they don't want to legalize marijuana. I mean, I want all drugs to be legalized, but if it at least legalized marijuana, that'd be nice. But they don't. Texas is sitting on its rear end, dragging it, sitting on its ass, dragging it, not legalizing the damn stuff. And it's safe. It's got medical benefits. I mean, people should be all for at least legalizing a safe drug, a safe recreational drug, but no. Texas doesn't want to do it. Texas still says weed is bad. Texas still says, at least the harder drugs, Texas still says, no, you're not going to smoke it. I'm like, fuck that. I say go for it. Smoke fucking weed or whatever drug you want. Because the best way to stand up to an unjust law is to disobey it. That's the most immediate logical response to an unjust law, is to disobey it. And you can't have, you can't have the system go on. You need to move forward. You need to have freedom. That's a system getting more advanced. That's a system, going up on a higher level, is for it to be more free. Not more regulated, not more oppressed, not more, big brother involved. It's freedom that's going to make a society more advanced. So, I get disappointed when nearly everyone I meet, happen to ask about, agrees to forced education or gun control or any of all this other shit that I just mentioned. I mean, I wish they did their research to see how this stuff is wrong or doesn't work, but they don't. And even if they look at something I would have shown, they wouldn't really care. I mean, they still have their opinion, I still have mine. So, I guess you just gotta keep fighting the good fight. I mean, it only gets better when you make it better, so at least try to make it better. That's the way I see it. So, I guess that's all I really have to say.